I, Richard Bell of Eastern Australia, do solemnly and sincerely declare that when the Court of Australia ruled out terra nullius, everything discussed or decided upon thereafter was ultra vires. All my ancestors living in Australia when Captain James Cook planted the British flag on Australian soil in 1770 automatically became British citizens. Declare that British citizenship bestowed on my ancestors all the inherent rights afforded any other British citizen, including the right to fair and just compensation for the compulsory acquisition to property, the right to peaceful enjoyment of their lands, the full protection of the law, etc. That successive governments participated in or condoned acts of murder, rape and pillage on a scale that since 1949 would be called genocide. And until very recently, well, at the time this work was made, genocide was still not illegal in Australia. It's only been made illegal in the last few years. All Aboriginal people living in Australia are victims of crime. Further, that we have never been, nor are we now, treated equally. That is, treated like white people treat each other. In other words, we have never and are now not privy to white privilege. That all non-Aboriginal people living in Australia are living off the proceeds of sustained criminal activity. Therefore, they are all criminals. That successive governments have dehumanised and demonised Aboriginal people in the hearts and minds of non-Aboriginal people in Australia in order to establish and perpetuate control of what is still rightfully ours, the whole of Australia. And I make this solemn declaration conscientiously believing the same to be true, and by virtue of the provisions of the Oaths Act 1967. Aboriginal art, as we know it, is a white construct, and it's that construct is anthropological, and well, the study of dead civilizations. You know, ethnography is a study of living civilizations, and there's it's almost impossible to separate, you know, like the anthropologist from Aboriginal art. You know, like it's been ethnicised to a really great extent, to such an extent where there are certificates of authenticity. You know. Now, white people don't have certificates of authenticity. You know, there are two meanings to authenticity in this country. You know, there is the authenticity of the work, whether it is actually by the artist that it's proclaimed to be. There is also another type of authenticity which exists, and it refers to the purity, or whatever, of Aboriginal blood. So the full-blood traditional people are seen as real, authentic, and we, particularly from the southern areas, are seen as being unreal, inauthentic people and artists, and our work has been set to the side in this whole, that's why I decided to address that in this work, where I've attached a certificate of authenticity which I developed over a period of time. Why can't Aboriginal art stand alone by itself, you know, like an entity unto itself, as Western art is? The big E behind me is, it's an affirmation of myself. It's an affirmation that I exist. I am, and I am human. And it continues on from this work here. So this says, greetings and welcome to my dream time, or should I say nightmare. My name is Richard Bell. If you're expecting some kind of profound statement, you may be disappointed. Too bad though. This is just a basic introduction. I was born in Charleville, Queensland. Now that's ironic, you know, Queensland, on the 13th of December 1953. This work here, this was the first work that I did in this I did this back in 2001, and I just had a break from painting. I didn't paint for about 7 years, other than doing maybe 1 or 2 paintings a year. And I spent almost the entire 2001 working 18, 20-hour days just painting. And anybody who's been on that journey, just being in the studio, just painting and experimenting, that, well, we all come to this thing here with Pollock's action painting. Underneath here though, I've got, in relief, there's several sort of words, and these are these things here, and you can only see them in, in certain light, and what it is, like those Aboriginal people have gained this horrendous reputation of being lazy. When in actual fact, we put the white man where he is today. We did all the clear, we did all the ring barking, we did all the stick picking, we did all the fencing, we did most of the roundups, for their cattle and sheep and that sort of thing. So that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a goddamn lie. We ain't lazy. We're the best workers in this whole country, ever. Now, what I'm doing here is by getting, I'm getting the lazy black man is putting the even lazier white man or woman to work. It's really interesting to, you get people sort of looking here and like, I kind of like that, so. And that's those, with Aboriginal works, there's this ethnographic aspect to it where they have these certificates of authenticity. So I've created one here, and they have a mud map, which sort of tells you what things mean and that sort of thing. So I've done this sort of thing. The whole thing is a piss take. And I wrote this thing here. This actually tells you what this work is about, sort of thing. So I don't know what you got me here describing it all for you. I have to believe that art can make a difference. I have to believe that it can lead to political change. I have to, because if I look at things logically, rationally, through to their logical ending, I don't see that there is any hope. In fact, every time I do that, I do a painting and I write, the text on it is, there is no hope. There'll be lots of kids studying this work down here. This work is actually from my personal collection. I had to sell it to pay a tax bill. So it'll have a really good home here, I believe, and I wanted it to be seen by lots of young people, and I'm sure it will affect them, the way that they see Aboriginal people, I hope.